Hello there. Welcome to Business Studies. In this video, we want to look at a topic of business environments. Let's subscribe and share to our channel. Let's turn off the notification button so that when we subscribe new videos, you get notified. We are going to upload typical examination questions that are going to assist us with the upcoming exam. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing business studies. So in this video, we are going to look at a typical examination question that is relating to business studies, grade 11, and in particular, it's going to be on the topic of business environments. So we can try to see in terms of the questions that we are going to look at according to this video. So we are going to start with question 1.1, which reads, give two examples of contemporary legislation that may affect business operations. And our question has got 2 marks. So we are just going to list the examples of contemporary legislation. So contemporary legislation, these are laws and regulations that are currently in force and have been recently enacted or amended. So when we have got legislation that are being amended or they've been recently amended, then we call them contemporary legislation. So the term is used to differentiate current laws from outdated or historical legislation. So at the end of the day, it reflects the current social, economic, and political landscape and is subject to ongoing debate, obviously, and modifications obviously will be done on that legislation. Modifications are as new issues and challenges emerge. So this is the question that we have on contemporary legislation. So it's all about just mentioning a legislation, try to see if the legislation has been recently amended. Remember, we are saying contemporary legislation now differentiates from recent legislation to outdated or old legislation that has not been amended for a longer time. So if you look at the legislation examples that we have there, they have been recently amended. For example, Labor Relations Act has been recently amended at 2019, around 2019. So if you look at the examples that we are having, our responses that we are having to, according to this question, we have the Labor Relations Act, and also we have the Consumer Protection Act and the Employment Equity Act. So those are the contemporary legislation that we have currently in South Africa. And you can as well try to, if you have got other correct legislation that apply to this question, also can be marked correct. So moving on to the next part of the question, which is 1.2, it reads, elaborate on the meaning of networking. So networking, we know that it's a process of making connections and building relationships. So whenever we are making connections and we're building relationships, we call it networking. So these connections can provide you with advice usually, and obviously it might also be having the essence of providing you with contacts. So it is the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common interest. So the exchange of information and ideas that will be taking place in networking will be an exchange between people with people or businesses with common interests. Usually, it's done in the form of informal setting. So that's networking. So according to the explanation that we are given there, according to this answer, we have got a brief description of networking that we have there, which is saying, first point is saying coordinated activity where people who have similar objectives meet and exchange information and ideas. And the second point, the goal of networking is to reach as many people as possible and to make every connection count. So those are the two brief explanations that sums up the definition of networking. So the second point is making is emphasizing on the issue that the connection that we are going to make, the people or businesses that are going to reach out, every connection that you make should count. So we should have results from that connection. So moving on to the next one, is 1.3, saying explain ways businesses can form power relationships. So obviously we have got a new term that we are seeing there, that is our power relationships. So we would want to understand what exactly do we mean by power relationships. So our power relationships are this relationship in each one party is social or formative power over another. So when we have a relationship that exists between two parties, but one party has got power over the other, we call it a power relationship. You see also that it is able to get the other party to do what they wish, whether they are forcing. So the power that we have over the other in power relationship is should be in the form of forcing or not forcing. So it's whether by forcing or by not forcing the compliance. So that's what we have in the power relationship are set up. So this is exactly that is being explained by the points that we have beneath that. First point is saying build around the essence of building around triple BEE and empowerment of employees. And we know that triple BEE stands for broad-based black economic empowerment. So these are the settings that we have in terms of the first point. The second point is saying ability of a person's power to influence others' thoughts, actions, and choices, exactly like what we're explaining. Then third point, persuasion of large investors. His power to influence other businesses. Then we've got next point, secure goodwill of investors. Last point, influence on company representative through agent or intermediary. So this is the response that we have. Then 1.4 is asking you to explain on piracy, explain the meaning of piracy. 2 marks. So the question here, you know that piracy, basically piracy, we are talking about reproducing. In a way, we are saying it's illegal reproducing of another party's work. That's what we call by the piracy. So basically, we are saying the unauthorized use of others' work through reproduction of another's work. So that's what we call piracy. So it comes as an unauthorized duplication of copyrighted content that is then sold at a substantially lower price in the market. So when this unauthorized duplication has been done, usually it's sold at a lower price than its market price. So that's what we call piracy. So in other words, we are just trying to say there's an illegal activity that is taking place when there's piracy. The duplication, the reproduction is unauthorized. So this is what we call piracy. Then 1.5, which is the last part of our questions, really suggest ways of dealing with piracy. 6 marks. Obviously, 3 points are required there. What ways should we use to deal with the issue of piracy? Remember, we're saying this piracy activity is illegal, it's unauthorized. So how can we deal with it? So the first part is saying patents. So the use of patents prevents other businesses not to produce or sell the same product or service. So patents, we know that this is a license that gives the owner the legal right to exclude others from making or using or selling an invention for a limited period. So when you have got the legal right to prevent others from using your work is what we call patents. So use of that can be a solution to piracy. So this is the first point that we have. Then we go to the second point, which is saying trademarks. And then explanation that web says identifies businesses in their product. But you know that trademarks is a type of intellectual property consisting of a recognizable sign. It might be a sign, it might be design, or it might be also a expression that identifies a product or service from a particular source and distinguishes it from others. So it should be something that is, the trademark should come as something that is unique, that other organizations or other businesses do not have it. So it becomes a trademark. So it can come in the form of a sign. Your sign that you use that makes your business different from others is a trademark. A design that you use that makes your business different from others, it's a trademark. And then it can come in the form of an expression again. So this can be also a solution to piracy, so that when someone uses it, it's easily identifiable that there is piracy taking place. So that becomes a solution. So this is the second solution that we have. Then on the point, we've got copyright installation that we have says you can take legal action against who copy your products. So obviously, in terms of copyright, you know that it gives the owner exclusive legal right to copy, distribute, adapt, display, or perform a creative work. So this is what we have in terms of copyright. Then our last part, we've got taking legal action of unauthorized people or businesses using your product or service. So the solution to piracy, we can say on the last point is just trying to say if after identifying that there is piracy taking place, take legal action quickly of those unauthorized people who are using your work, and action can be taken quickly. So that can be a solution. Of course, it might be a difficult a solution that you might employ, but it can also solve the problem of piracy. So this is what we have on the last point. So this is what we have, guys, according to this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Don't forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing the 11 business studies. Let's meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.